Dr. Atkinson here. Good morning. Our campaign is about how to eat naturally. Now, with this campaign, we mentioned that there are certain times that you eat, there's a certain how that you eat, and there is what to eat. Okay? Preceding all of this is the mental actions of being healthy and strong. That primarily dictates that the thinking must be geared towards health and strength and power and rejuvenation and renewal. Once those thoughts are in place continually, which takes effort, you will find that you begin to replace the thoughts of sickness and disease and old age. While these thoughts are very important, and while it's been heard that I have said that healing begins first in the mind, which is true, I must admit that you cannot build and maintain a perfectly healthy body based on mental actions alone. Now, there are certain actions more or less voluntary, which has or have a direct relation to the continuance of your life. These actions are eating, drinking, breathing, and sleeping. And no matter how positive you think, no matter what your thoughts are or your mental attitude is, you cannot live unless you eat, drink, breathe, and sleep in a natural way. Moreover, and this is important, you cannot be well. You cannot be well if you eat, drink, breathe, and sleep in a wrong manner. It's impossible. So you're moving towards something, but you're taking from yourself because of a lack of knowledge or a lack of understanding. I'm very conscious that there's a lot of controversy, a lot of talk, a lot of question that surrounds the act of when to eat, what to eat, how to eat, and even how much to eat. And believe me, all of this is unnecessary. The right way is very easy to find, and this I intend to show. Now, the process of digestion, assimilation, these processes are under the supervision or control of the subconscious mind. Your food is digested, it's assimilated. Now, the subconscious mind is in charge of these functions or processes of life. And if it is in charge of it, you recognize that it's an intelligent entity. Okay. And when more food is needed by the body, it makes the fact known. Okay. It makes the fact known by causing a sensation called hunger. And this takes place whenever food is needed and can be used. Whenever food is needed and can be used, you will experience hunger. And you will know factually that it is time to eat. Today we're dealing with when to eat. We're going to talk about how to eat and what to eat. But when there's a sensation of hunger, it is that time to eat. When there is no need for food, don't eat. If there is no hunger, don't eat. Even if you're sick, as I have experienced persons with second and third stages of cancer, even if you're in a debilitated condition and you do not feel hunger, do not eat. It means that the food cannot be used and it will be unnatural and wrong for you to eat it. Yes, though you have not eaten for days or even weeks, if there is no hunger, do not eat the food, it cannot be used. Again, whenever there is need for food, and if there is power in the body to digest and assimilate it, you can take food and it will be assimilated and it will do you good. You see, nature makes a special effort, okay, to take care of or deal with any task that we push upon it. So when you eat two, three, 4 meals a day, it's going to make an effort to digest and assimilate this food, but it's not right. And if this is done over and over and over, the power of digestion will be destroyed, and you will have many, many different forms of sicknesses and disease. A lot of persons are dealing with me today because the digestive power, the digestive system has been destroyed primarily because of a lack of knowledge and understanding of when to eat, how to eat, what to eat, and how much to eat. Now, if what I'm saying is true, and it is, meaning that in order to be healthy, you must eat only when you are hungry and never when you are not hungry. Now, it is easy to understand that eat when you're hungry and don't eat when you're not hungry. If you can understand this, this is basically obedience to nature. It is basically obedience to God Himself. Now, I'm not going to fail to make the distinction between hunger and appetite. That's very important because most of the time when you wake in the morning and you eat, it's not hunger, it's an appetite. And we want to clearly make that distinction. Hunger is the call of the subconscious mind for more material to be used in repairing and renewing your body. It also helps to keep the internal heat at a certain temperature. So the food is very necessary, we understand that, but too much of it is making us very, very sick. Now, appetite now is a desire for gratification of the senses. Appetite is a desire for gratification of the senses. Okay? You eat early morning, it's a habit or it's an appetite. Just an example. The drunkard has an appetite for liquor, but he could never have a hunger for it. See the difference? Appetite, hunger. A drug addict has an appetite for drugs, but there's no hunger for it. Just like you, a person cannot have a genuine hunger for things like spicy food and sweet things and coffee and things like that. There's no genuine hunger for that. That's an appetite. Hunger is a natural call for material, which is food, to be used in the building of new cells. And listen carefully, nature never calls for anything which cannot be legitimately used for this purpose. Okay? Again, appetite is largely a matter of habit. Okay? If one eats or drinks at a certain hour, basically, anyone, if one eats at a certain hour, if one drinks at a certain hour, and especially if one takes sweetened or spicy and stimulating food, the desire begins to come at that same hour. Okay? But this habitual desire for food should never be mistaken with hunger. It's a habitual desire. Hunger does not appear at specified times: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It only comes when work or exercise has destroyed sufficient tissue to make the taking in of new and raw material necessary, basically, for the rebuilding of cells. Okay? Let me give you an example. Let's say that you had sufficient food yesterday. It is impossible that you should feel genuine hunger upon arising after a refreshing and rejuvenating sleep. It's impossible. It's a habit. In sleep, the body is recharged with vital power. The body is rejuvenated. The body is refreshed. And the assimilation of food that has been taken during the day before is complete. The system has no need for food immediately after sleep unless basically you didn't get food to eat the day before. Basically you went to bed starved and hungry. In that environment, you're going to be hungry upon awakening. But that's a rare thing. Okay? Now, if you decide that you want to eat more naturally, you want to maintain a system of normal eating, you cannot eat immediately after arising from sleep. It is wrong. The early morning breakfast is taken to gratify your appetite. It is never to satisfy hunger. I stress this as a naturopathic doctor because people are constantly coming to me for things to put inside of their bodies to make them whole. The point is, nothing is necessary in that body except food that is earned. It's called an earned hunger. Again, I'm going to stress no matter who you are and no matter what condition you're in, no matter how hard you work, how easy your work is, unless you go to bed starved, you are not hungry upon arising in the morning. Hunger is not caused by sleep, but by work. Hunger is caused by work and exercise, not by sleep. Doesn't matter, again, who you are or what your condition is. Now, I'm very aware that there's some people who's going to say, boy, what you talking about is crazy. That's foolishness. I'm aware of that because there's a large number of people that enjoy their breakfast. They consider their breakfast to be their best meal. Okay, and these people believe that their work is so hard that they cannot get to the afternoon on an empty stomach. This is wrong. They have many reasons as to why they're going to have breakfast, but if you'll consider it, you'll know that all of this is wrong. You enjoy your breakfast as the drunkard enjoy his morning rum or drink, whatever it may be, because it gratifies a habitual appetite, and it's not because it supplies a natural want. It gratifies an appetite. And believe me, you can get along without that breakfast. That drunkard can get along without that drink. Now, you will recognize that in a short space of time, let's say in the matter of a week, you will be vastly better, much better for doing this. You say, well, doc, if I don't eat early in the morning when I get up, when should I eat my meal? Well, I'll tell you. In 99% of the cases, 99% of them out of 100, 12 o'clock noon is early enough. That's the best time. It is generally the most convenient time also. If you're doing heavy work, you will get generally hungry by about noontime, and you can justify a good sized meal. Then again, I work in an office. If your work is light, you will probably still have hunger enough to justify a moderate meal. You see, what should be understood now is that the best general rule or law that can be laid down is that you should eat your first meal at 12 o'clock. if you are hungry. And if you're not hungry, wait until you become so. Wait until you become hungry. This is extremely important in moving from debilitated conditions, whether it be arthritis, high blood pressure, diabetes, certain forms of cancer, whatever it may be. This is the remedy to begin the healing process. Is to eat only when you're hungry, forget about breakfast, start your first meal generally at 12 o'clock. Eventually, I'm going to tell you how to eat it, but not right now. Just get into the habit of starting your first meal generally at 12 o'clock. Now, I must say this because I'm going to be asked the question, okay, well, when should I have my second meal? Nice question. Well, for me, not at all. No second meal, unless you're hungry. Remember the key: eat when you're hungry only. It is natural eating. A vegetarian is not eating naturally because if everyone in this world was a vegetarian, we would not get sufficient food. Everyone eat basically according to their location on the planet Earth, and we'll deal with that later. I think God has done an excellent job with the distribution of the food for the human family, and I think you agree. Now, that second meal should not be had unless you're hungry, genuine hunger. If you get hungry for a second meal, eat at the most convenient time, but do not eat until you are hungry. From the beginning, though, you can easily see that the question is answered: when and how often shall I eat? The answer is: eat when you are hungry and never eat at any other time. Thank you for listening.